most people know his name. He having said so many wise proverbs, but considering the achievements they had done to the world, the achievements they had done to the Chinese society, few people know who he really was. We are at Xinhua Live Broadcasting on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube at Nishan, Shandong province of China, the birthplace of the world-renowned philosopher, world-renowned teacher, and world-renowned scholar, Confucius' birthplace. So joining us today is Qi Wenyue, our tour guide today, and Wang Chen, the member of designing and construction team of the project. Nishan Sacred Land was built several years ago, and it is together with the three Confucius, which refer to Confucius Mansion, Confucius Cemetery, and the Confucius Temple. They compose the whole picture of Confucianism cultural heritage. And right behind us is it is said to be the world's tallest statue of Confucius, and it is said to be taller than the Statue of Liberty of America and taller than Christ, the Redeemer of Brazil. So, Wenyue, could you tell us more about the cultural background of this statue, please?
Okay, this is the statue of Confucius, and we planted 3,000 apricot trees on both sides. The statues of Confucius are 72 meters tall.
72 meters tall.
Yeah, and it is the most important symbolic architecture of our Nishan Sacred Land, the scenic area. According to the related records, Confucius taught his disciples in apricot altar, and so the two numbers 3,072 just means the 3,000 disciples of Confucius and the 72 and the 72 stages.
So it's like the sculpture is based on. I'm hearing that is based on a famous painting of Chinese.
It is designed by the image of amiable, respectful teacher, elder, wise man, and refer to the image of Confucius by China's Tang Dynasty famous painter Wu Daozi.
So it's like the sculpture is just like the typical image of Confucius in Chinese people's mind, right? Yeah. So it's like a wise elder and a scholar and a teacher. So an amiable man. So yes, perfect. Wang Chen, could you tell us more about the details of the design and construction? Like what are the ideas of designing that go into a statue like this?
Yes, of course. The giant statue adopts steel structure bodies and is covered by a brass layer.
Covered by a brass layer.
Yeah, it's the biggest and tallest Confucius statue that has ever been built.
So how exactly is the height or is the weight?
And its base occupies an area of 7,800 square meters.
7,800 square meters. So
and
huge.
Its height reaching 72 meters.
72 meters.
Yeah, equal to a 24-floor building.
24-floor building.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's a huge statue of Confucius, like I just said. It is said to be the world's tallest statue of Confucius, and it's said to be taller than the Statue of Liberty and the statue and the Christ, the Redeemer, in Brazil. And for those of you who are just joining us today, we are doing Xinhua Live Broadcasting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and we're at the birthplace of the world's renowned philosopher and educator, Confucius, which is in the Shandong province of China. And so amid the chaos of 6th century BC China, where warring states are more than not fight against each other, and Confucius used to work as a civil servant at Lu State, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There are 5 famous virtues that Confucius believed. But what are they?
What are they? Confucius.
Like in Chinese, they are 仁义礼智信, right?
Just is benevolence, righteousness, wisdom, courtesy, and faith.
So they are benevolence. So which one is the most important? When do you think?
The benevolence is most important of Confucius' main ideas.
So what does it exactly mean?
Benevolence is can divide it into three aspects: benevolent love, and courtesy, and self-infinite instinct.
Yes, Confucianism is known by most Westerners, and it is actually called Rujia in China.
Yeah.
So it literally means the school of learning. So right before us is another major building of the Nishan sacred land. What's its name? Wang Chen, could you tell us?
Yeah.
It is
It is the Hall of Great Learning.
So the Great Learning lobby of Great Learning Hall.
Yeah.
So what's inside? What's inside the hall?
The Great Learning Hall is including the Jixian Hall, the way to Great Learning, the 72 sages corridors, and the 5 halls, the benevolence hall, the faith hall, the righteousness hall, and courtesy hall, and and the place for art, the ceremonial rites and music.
So I'm hearing that Confucianism, like other doctrines or religious, is more like a lifestyle for people.
Yeah.
For people to live in, and people can learn Confucianism through the conversation with their parents, with their elder member of their family, and it is rooted in people's life. So people don't have to follow some certain doctrines or certain even the proverbs that said by the Confucius. People just will feel the Confucianism in their daily life.
Yeah.
Right. So like what we have just talked about, Confucius believe in 5 virtues, and I'm also hearing that there are 6 or techniques or 6 arts that Confucius believe that people should learn. They are how to. Confucius believing people should learn how to.
I could say it in Chinese.
Yes, what's in Chinese? Tell us.
礼遇社.
Yeah, 礼遇社. What Li is courtesy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lu is how to ride a chariot or to ride a horse. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yes, and what's the third one?
And the shoot.
And the archery.
Archery. Oh, okay.
So we can see that Confucius put a lot of stress on people's daily life techniques and education, right?
Right.
And for those of you who are just joining us, we are doing a Xinhua live broadcasting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and Nishan Sacred Land, Shandong Province of China, which is exactly the birthplace of Confucius, the great philosopher and educator. Confucius is born and raised in poverty from a very young age, and following an untimely death of his father. And then Confucius developed a lifelong sympathy for the suffering of the common people, and he believed that the human character is formed in family and by education, in ritual, literature, and history. To put his philosophy into practice, Confucius spent his lifetime traveling state to state and to test out the basics of his theory and find a worthy ruler to serve. So now we are in the
Hall of Great Learning.
So, are there any special about the cultural background of this lobby? So what's its name?
The stairs names the way to Great Learning.
So it's like you can understand it as a stair of great learning or a way of great learning, right?
Yeah.
So, Wang Chen, could you tell us how long or how high is the stair?
The stairs have 80 steps, and the height is 12 meters, something like a 4-floor building.
So it's the total height is the same height as a 4-floor building.
Yeah.
So how wide it is?
The wide is 17.5 meters.
17.5 meters.
Yeah.
So We can see it consists a lot of pillars. How many pillars are there?
The pillars around 12.
There are
12.
12 huge pillars
Yeah.
inside the main place of the Great Learning Lobby. And is there anything else you want to share with us? What
At the both side we put is ever lighting candle. As a one saying goes, without Confucius, China will lost rich civilizations. So we put hundreds of ever lighting candles to hope Confucius will influence us, even though influence the world for a long time.
It's like a tribute to the achievements that is done by Confucius.
Yeah.
So in Chinese and most people believe the impact of Confucius on Chinese society is very influential. So that Latin put on both sides of the stair are just like the impact of the Confucius.
And on the both sides of the wall, we cover the whole moderation.
So these are the words from the classics of moderation, right?
Yeah, it's a cover total about 3,065 Chinese words.
So a little tip: the moderation are among the 4 classics re-edited or collected by Confucius' disciples from the lectures given by the Confucius. So moderation is the last one of the 4 classics. Moderation basically means people should lessen the extremes, and Confucius believed that the key of life lies in the moderation. So what's before us? It's a huge gate.
The gate name is 仲尼之门 in Chinese, and the gate of 仲尼, just like the Confucius gate.
So what's behind it?
It's the first chart of 大学.
So
the first chart of the Great Learning is written by Yuan Dynasty, Zhao Menghu.
So it's calligraphy.
It is the craft is Yangzhou lacquerware.
Is there anything you want to share with us?
There is a painted by Mr. He Jun. The name is.
What are these people?
There's a Confucius taught his 3,000. Confucius taught his sages.
It's like Confucius is giving his lectures.
Yeah, after the apricot trees.
I'm hearing a little story about the painting. The tree right behind the Confucius is the apricot tree, right? Yeah. And one day, when Confucius gave its lecture to his disciples, he said, "You are just like the fruit of the disciples, and when you are graduate, you will be beneficial to the society and beneficial to your family." So the place that he said these words become the apricot altar. Yeah. So I think it's also the inspiration that behind this painting, right? What is the left man playing? Is it a flute?
Just like in Chinese, I could say 陶笛.
So it's literally means flute made out of pottery. So its music is also one of the main field or main techniques that Confucius believed people should learn, right?
Yeah.
So, and Confucius once said, a man would get enough pleasure or entertain himself from literature and music. So,
now
it is huge. Now you can see the main hall, the main place of the Great Learning Lobby. And the Great Learning Lobby and the statue of the Confucius are the two main buildings in the Nishan Sacred Land, where is exactly Confucius was born, and we are in the main place of the Great Learning Lobby, and you can feel the atmosphere is very, very quiet, and it's like and refreshing.
Yeah.
And the minute you walk in here, you will feel the inner peace. Yes. So how big and what are the design ideas that go into a place like this? Want to share with us?
The most important structure in this building is the ceiling. The ceiling of this hall is decorated with huge, rarely seen hand-painted paintings of 2,300 square meters, and the area of which is equal to the size of 7 standard basketball courts.
7, how many basketball courts?
Yeah.
A little tip, the 4 classics of Confucius are the Analects, which is very well known around the world, and the other 3 are the Mencius, the moderation that we have just talked about, and the great learning. What are the papers put on the desk? The calligraphy?
We just handwrite the classic book of Confucius.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's you can experiment the Chinese calligraphy here.
Yeah.
So can I try it?
Okay, of course.
Okay. I'll try. What are the words? What are the words put on this paper? So it's words from Analects?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can I just write on it? As we know, the Chinese characters are composed of lots of strokes, and the radicals. You can see I'm write a vertical stroke here. I'm not really good writer, so
Yeah.
you can just So it's basically
It's very good.
how Chinese are writing their characters. Yes, and these are words are from the Chinese classics, the Analects, and you can see some famous words on there, like let me see. The last sentence literally means people should examine themselves 3 times a day, and through which he will become a more wiser man. So you can see around the at the 4th corner are the 4 little house.
Yeah.
In ancient times, Chinese greet each other by doing a yili. So can you show us how this is
Okay, of
done?
course.
Yeah.
We put the right hand in, and because in ancient Chinese time, the Asian people always use the right hand to catch the weapon. So we put we put the right hand in.
So we put our right hand after
behind the left hand.
In ancient times, the right hand is for arms. The right hand is for weapons.
Yeah.
So what are the left hand for? Is it for?
Is a courtesy, respect for other people's.
For courtesy.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Do we have to bow?
Okay, we put the hand on our hand and do not up and down. Just put on the hand and bow.
Yes. So
just
that's
like
the
this. Just like this. It's a yili.
Yeah, so. For those of you who are just joining us, we are doing a live broadcasting with the Xinhua News Agency on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And we are at Nishan Sacred Place, Sacred Land of Shandong Province of China, which is exactly where Confucius is born. And our tour guide today take you through the world's tallest statue of Confucius. It is taller than the Statue of Liberty and taller than the Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. And now we are in the Great Learning Hall, and which is built by the ideas of benevolence, ritual, and righteousness, and the wisdom, and
courtesy.
And courtesy, right? So it's all we see today is 100% absolutely traditional Chinese culture, and hope it will help you get a little glimpse of Chinese culture. So at the end of our live tour today, let's do yili to all the friends on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So thank you. Thank you. So that's basically what about our live tour today. See you next time.